Afternoon everyone, just hopping on to bring you some breaking news this afternoon. It's my understanding that after a round of week of negotiating, Sunderland now have agreed a transfer fee with Borussia Dortmund, which means that Jobe Bellingham is now fairly close to leaving the club in what could potentially be a club record sale for Sunderland. It's my understanding that the two clubs have reached an agreement of a fee of an upfront around 33 million euros, which works out at just under 28 million quid. But it's understood that there's also around 5 million euros in potential future add-ons, which the club think are highly likely to be realised. They're very realistic ones. So that means that in total, it's likely to be a package of around 38 million euros, which would be a club record fee, taken past the sale of Jordan Pickford to Everton from Sunderland. Now, of course, some of that money will go to Birmingham City. It's believed, it's been widely reported that there's a sell-on clause of around 15% of Birmingham City as part of the deal that brought Jobe to Sunderland 2 years ago. But clearly still a huge fee for Sunderland, and I think a pretty positive return for the club. The two teams have obviously had a big difference of valuation since Bellingham indicated that he'd like to go to Borussia Dortmund last Monday. Borussia Dortmund's initial valuation was around 20 million euros up front and an additional 5 million euros in add-ons. Sunderland wanted a fee much closer to Bellingham's release clause of around 40 million euros. And while Sunderland were never likely to stand in Bellingham's way, given what he's given to the club over the last 2 years and his role in the club's promotion this year after his decision not to go to the Premier League when there were offers on the table last summer, they were clearly not going to stand in Bellingham's way, but they wanted to secure the right deal for the club, and they feel they've now done that. So I expect this now to proceed pretty quickly. It's my understanding that Bellingham has agreed the outline of a deal with Borussia Dortmund over the last week. He's currently in Slovakia with the England under-21 squad for the upcoming European Championship, but it's widely being expected and anticipated that he will leave the camp to go and sign for Borussia Dortmund before this mini transfer window shuts on Tuesday, which then means he'll be able to go out and play for Dortmund in the Club World Cup. So I don't think this is something that will go through today. I think Bellingham will obviously have to go and have his medical checks and go through the formalities of concluding the deal, and the two parties will have to get everything in order to formally conclude the deal. But it's now a case of when rather than if Jobe Bellingham is expected to join Borussia Dortmund for what will potentially be a club record sale for Sunderland. Leaves a huge gap in their squad, of course. Bellingham is such a key part of this team that's been promoted. Having said that, it's also a huge injection of funds as Sunderland start their summer rebuild ahead of the Premier League return. One little other bit of detail to give you, I understand there's a sell-on clause of around 15% included in this deal. So if Bellingham does move on for a significant fee in future years, Sunderland's financial boost from this deal will grow even further.